Watched this last night, you'll know how I made the authentic pre-cooked keema for this. So I've got that right here. It's all ready to go. I won't be using all of this because I'm making this curry to serve just Caroline and me tonight. So it's just a two-person curry for me. The recipe in the book is, of course, to serve 4 people. So it's the same process. If you're cooking along with me, you probably want to use all this. I'll use almost all that because we are quite hungry. So just kind of follow along. Like I said, I'm going to be making this for 2 people. If you're making it for 4, it's the same thing. You do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is a really quick one. Just so you know, we won't be doing any videos, demos next week because I've got to start cooking up some Thai food from my book so I can share the recipes on the blog. And the following week we will be starting with new Thai recipes from my Thai book, which is out on the 15th of April. So hopefully you'll be tuning in for those too. And we'll be doing quite a few up until the book comes out, quite a few Thai things. And then we're looking at doing a lot of stuff outside, so we're going to be doing some barbecue. But for right now, let's go ahead and do this keema. And if you have any questions along the way, let me know. I'm going to go over to this other pan now. I'll get this hopefully started. There we are. And I'm going to add just a couple tablespoons there of oil. We just want to cover the bottom of the pan. There we are. And to that, I'm going to add, this is about a half a chopped onion and also some bell pepper, just a little bit of red bell pepper. You could add this whenever. You don't have to wait for the oil to heat up. If you're using an aluminum pan like me, it'll heat up. It's already starting to sizzle, so it'll heat up quite quickly. So if you've been watching my videos and my especially the BIR, the curry house style stuff, you'll know that it's all built up from the bottom as we're doing here. So we're adding these onions and bell peppers. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt to this just to kind of release some moisture from the onions. But it's really the same process with almost all the curry house curries because they're meant to be easy, meant to be made quick, so you can just whip them up at the last minute's notice. Make quite a few, and I want to just cook those onions until they're soft and translucent. No need to brown them for this one.
Steve Smith's asking if you do this recipe with lamb, what cut of lamb should you ask the butcher
I always
to mince?
use, and you could use shoulder because shoulder has a lot of nice flavor. You just need to pre-cook it longer. If I'm doing it with tandoori lamb, or even stewed, I usually use leg because it cooks faster. It becomes tender a lot faster than the shoulder does. But shoulder has some great flavor, so if you have the time and you want to pre-cook it and just let it stew until tender, that would be very nice. All right, so this, because those onions are looking quite good, I'm going to go ahead and add some chilies because I like a lot of chilies. You don't have to add that many if you don't want to. That's about 2. And then I've got some coriander stalks. Most of the flavor in coriander is in the stalk, so I just like to add some of that to this base here. And to that, we are going to add some ground spices now. Actually, no, we're not. I'm going to add some garlic and ginger paste, just about a tablespoon. I like my garlic and ginger paste, so I'll add about that much there. Just let that cook for about 30 seconds. See, we added the onions and the bell peppers first because they take longer to cook, and garlic can burn and it becomes bitter if it burns. So you always add that. If you're adding some kind of vegetable, like with a jalfrezi and in this case, or a buna, you want to add the onions first, and then you just get that garlic and ginger cooking right in there with that oil. And now I'm going to add about a tablespoon of mixed powder, a nice big dose of chili powder, and some cumin. I'm just going to stir that all in. That's kind of our base right there. And before those spices have a chance to burn, I'm going to add tomato puree. That's going to cool the pan down. And just give it a really nice, I mean, this is smelling so nice right now. If you're making this along with me, you'll know what I mean. I just want to get that up to a nice bubble. Looking perfect so far. And then I'm going to add just a tiny bit. Keema curries are usually quite dry. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the base sauce right now. I might add some more. With the base sauce, in my books, I say, I might say 700 milliliters of base. And I tell you to add it a couple times, add it once and then add the rest and all that. But really what you want to be doing is just kind of looking for yourself. And if the curry's looking dry, add a little bit more base. Don't worry about the measurements. Just make sure you have enough to do this. Now see, I'm going to add just a little bit more because it's got a nice, it's on a high heat now, the highest heat I can get it on. I'm just going to add a little bit of that there. And then to that, I'm going to add some of this keema, just this pre-cooked keema that we did last night. And if you didn't see the pre-cooked keema recipe yesterday, I will put a link to it in here. So you'll have a link to that. Won't be able to do it right now because I'm cooking, but I'll do it after this is all done. And as you can see, it's quite dry around in the center.
This is a question we're getting asked quite a bit. Your tomato puree looked very runny. Do you dilute it or did you use passata?
I dilute it. That is actually passata, which I diluted. Just because we just wanted some color and a little bit of a tomato flavor to it.
But mostly when you say tomato puree, we use diluted passata now.
Yeah, I use passata a lot just because it's so easy and really you could blend some tomatoes. Just get a tin of tomatoes.
You could use tomato puree from a tube.
Huh?
You could use tomato puree from a tube, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tomato paste that you buy, you can buy some of that and just like get 1 tablespoon of that and 3 tablespoons of water, and that will give you pretty much the same thing as well. And that's really what's used at curry houses, but because we have a lot of passata.
Can tomato puree be made up in bulk and frozen?
Sorry?
Can tomato puree be made up in bulk and frozen?
I see no reason why not. But you wouldn't want to bulk freeze it too much because you don't usually use very much of it. I use about 1/4 of a cup, 70 milliliters there. All right. So what I've got here is I'm not stirring in the center. So you're not going to burn that. That's not burning at all. That will just not burn. What you want to do is you want to get around the edges there, scraping it off the sides because that's some flavor in there that you don't want in your pan. You want it in your curry. I'll just add a little bit more. And this is where you have to think about yourself, right? So if you want to have this be a really thick curry, like something that you could pick up with a naan, you wouldn't have just added the base sauce that I just added because you wouldn't need to because you just want it to be quite dry and easily picked up. But we're serving this with rice tonight, so I want to have a little bit more sauce. And that's really, like I say, use the recipes as guides, but think about what you're using it for, how you're going to be using it. Okay, now I've got 1 tomato which I've not quartered but cut into 6 pieces. I'm just gonna put that in there. Let that kind of cooking the meat there. Scraping again around the sides. That's looking really nice now. Then I'm going to add, I've got some frozen peas here. You can use fresh or frozen peas. And someone asked me once, do you have to put peas in? And the answer, hopefully most of you that have been watching the videos now for a while will know, no, you don't have to add anything you don't like. So if there's something in there that you don't like, just leave it out.
It turns out there's no point adding peas now for nutritional value because today it was announced that they don't count as your 5 a day.
Yeah, I know, and I was counting them too.
Damn!
Don't mind peas. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more sauce to this now. But remember, like I said, only if you're serving it over rice or something like that. If you're doing it for a naan, best to keep it drier. Scraping all that back in there into the pan. Then I'm going to add some fresh coriander, that's cilantro, to anyone watching in the States. And some garam masala.
Andrew's asking why you favour an aluminium pan.
Why do I? It's what they use in curry houses, and it depends on the stove that I'm cooking on. I use stainless steel a lot as well. All these, all the when we go over to the other pan, all the Balti bowls that are behind me, they're all stainless steel. And if you have an induction hob, they're the best to use for induction. But these are over gas. These work really well, and the reason is they get hot really fast, just like stainless steel. They get hot really fast and they cool down. Unlike cast iron, which is how they did it in the old days, which I love my cast iron pans, but they do take forever to heat up. They need something in a restaurant that's going to heat up very quickly like this. I mean, that was a cold pan when I started, and it started frying those onions.
And you get the
very quickly.
caramelization on the sides,
Yeah,
don't you?
exactly. So
This is non-stick.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want something that's a non-stick pan because you won't get that caramelization.
I mean, it's not non-stick, or the opposite. Yes.
Then I'm going to just put some julienne ginger in there. And I just love julienne ginger, so I think put a lot of it in there. And some more salt. I just know how much to add because I've made this so many times. But you'll want to taste it. You'll want to put your spoon in there. I'm going to do that now myself. And that's it. Perfect. Put that up to the camera. So that's what you can make in about 10 minutes. Really, really nice. I love a good keema. So if we can go to the other camera, Caroline. So that's it. So for the person that asked about why do I use aluminium, I mean, those are all stainless steel there, those ones right there. In curry houses, they tend to use these aluminium pans, and that's for the Baltis too, unfortunately, these days. They used to, when Baltis first came out, they'd always be cooked in an authentic Balti bowl and then served in that hot Balti bowl. Nowadays, a lot of the curry houses will just cook it in an aluminium pan and they'll put it in some kind of ornamental Balti bowl. So it's not quite the same thing. But if you go to a real Balti restaurant, like the great ones I've been to in Birmingham, Shababs, for example, they do it the authentic way, and it is an experience. It's great just to have it coming out.
Someone's saying you might not know this. Does keema just mean peas?
No, I think matar is peas. I should know this because I'm learning Hindi right now, but I don't know that.
I don't know what keema means.
Keema is just it's talking about the actual minced meat. So I think
probably
matar
means minced meat.
Yeah. I just call it minced meat. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's it. Very, very easy to do. You can do all these curry house recipes in about 10 minutes. So it's just it's a great thing to know and to have fun learning to do, because I could have cooked 3 of those in the same time because they don't burn at the bottom. You need to scrape around the side, but at the bottom you never have really any issues, and that's with all the curry house recipes, just because there's so much moisture in there from the base sauce and everything. So it's nice, and I like cooking them outside too. You can cook them on a barbecue, you can cook them anywhere. But outside's great because you get a nice fire going and put them on your barbecue, and it beats sausages and burgers.
Someone's answered the question about keema. It means mince. So
yeah,
now we know.
So mince.
Yes.
Which is what I said.
Yes.
But,
yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. This is quite a short one because I think everyone that's been watching, we do have quite a few regulars now. All the videos are recorded, so you can go back and see them. But these recipes, these curry house recipes, are just so easy that once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to just whip these up in no time. And it beats getting in the car and having to drive down to the takeaway. I'll tell you, I just like being able to...
Jim's asking if we've done a Vindaloo live. I can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
There is a live one if you look.
There's a Vindaloo and there's also a fowl. So depending on where you're watching this, I don't think it's not depending. If you're on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, you'll just have to look at the live shows, and there'll be a vindaloo there, and there's also a fowl. So if you like it spicy, there's madras as well.
And Mark says he's seen cast iron balti pans, question mark.
Yeah, those are the karais. So the whole idea of a balti pan was to take the original karais, the cast iron karais, and make it so that when the balti craze started in Birmingham, they were finding that the Pakistani restaurants were finding that everyone was going to the Bangladeshi restaurants because they can get in there, get their chicken tikka masala or their korma, and they can get it really fast and it was cheap. Whereas you went to the Pakistani places and they were doing stuff the traditional way with cast iron karais and bringing it out, but it just took so long to come to the table. So someone came up with this idea of making a karai out of stainless steel so that they could get these out to the tables quickly and perhaps steal away some of that custom from the other curry houses, and it worked. I mean, the balti boom was, late 70s, 80s, 90s was quite big. It's kind of taken a bit of a dip now, but there's still a lot of people that like baltis, and the original baltis were always made in a stainless steel pan.
Okay, well, Steve's asking recommendations for ingredients prior to the Thai series. Well, we'll be posting that more next week.
Yeah, because that's one reason why we're not doing any videos, demos next week, because I've got to do a lot of cooking. I got to get it all written down for my blog so that you can see it. But I mean, off the top of my head, you're going to want fish sauce. Because that goes in so many different
maybe
curries.
try hunting down some galangal early,
Yeah,
because it's quite hard to get.
It's not easy to get. I mean, if you're down south, you can just walk into any supermarket and buy it. But if you happen to be up here, like near the North Pole, like we are, it's very difficult. We have to drive about 20 miles to even find.
Well, there's no Waitrose near us with all the posh
no,
ingredients.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So galangal we found very difficult to get, but we do get it, and lemongrass. Lemongrass we can get a little bit easier. But
well, the Asian shops usually have it, but not always. So.
Yeah, that's the problem. You drive 20 miles and it's not there. But so get yourself some galangal because you will need it. And I'm going to be demonstrating. I think the first one's going to be a green curry, so just Thai green curry.
Oh, lime leaves.
Lime leaves is
but they're
another
frozen
one.
and they're really good frozen.
Yeah.
You get frozen in the...
And you can get those at supermarkets now too.
Yeah.
Most. Not up here you can't, but you can down south. It's all over the place down south, no problem.
Right.
But great, so thank you very much for watching, and we will see you not next week, but the week after that, and we will start doing some Thai cooking, and it will give me a chance to kind of show you what's gone into that Thai book so you can try some of this stuff before you buy it. And hopefully you're going to be very happy with what you try, so you be prepared to start cooking with me, because I would love that. And you could see just exactly what you can make at home very easily in your own kitchen. And so just plan on hopefully doing that. It'll be next Tuesday and Wednesday. Same time as always.
Not next week, the week after,
next week.
Right.
After that. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in a week's time. And
2 weeks' time, nearly.
Yes, all right, 2 weeks.
We don't want anyone logging in next week because you won't be there. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.